Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, the Uncharted Frontier, episode 8. Now, we did have a minor slip-up last episode, which was truly unfortunate. Jeb unfortunately died during a plane, I don't want to call it launch because it's an aircraft, but a test flight of the R1 X-plane. So we will mourn him for that, in all honesty, but we are going to plan to have a much better flight today. So we're going to actually start training our crew of our first mission to space. Now, we're not going to be able to do much to start out because, well, you know, it is in that same field in which planes are not our strong suit. So, you know, 20.8 scientists can hear. It says, oh, Jeb alive. No, we're going to get rid of him. I didn't turn on missing crews respawn, so we're just going to get rid of Kerbals as they go. I do believe there's a way in the cheat menu not to use it to get rid of Kerbals. No? Okay, well. Alright, well, Jeb gone. He is technically dead, so no more Jeb. We're just gonna re-equip Mitlon with a better suit. Actually, we'll give them all better suits now. They will all sport the piloting suit of the agency. Nothing space rated, but they will all sort that. So we're going to do another launch of a plane. I know it's crazy. After last time, we're already going to fly a plane. But it's been over 200 days, and we got to move on from the death of Jebediah. And I don't think Jeb would be very happy if we put all that we have gotten to waste. So I think he would really want us to get back into the field of aerospace. Now we're going to actually strengthen the vehicle a bit. I think we could, but no, let's give it a better in vehicle view. But besides that, I think the vehicle is still good, but could use something better. Science experiments. What could those be? Well, I'd like to say it could be anything, but it really can't, so we're just gonna rely off of our current technology. Did it just say I have a command pod? Did I read that correctly? Wait. Research capsule. Oh, it's an animal. Okay, cool. Not going to be using that. We don't need to test our designs on animals. Now, I say we need, Val can do this mission. Should be a new, not challenge for her, but, you know, she hasn't flown yet. She's just one of our other pilots. Mitlon still needs to be, I don't want to say worked to perfection, but technically still needs training. We're gonna try to implement that into our save. Okay, so that's done. Spaceplane hangar. The R1 is ready to launch. Now we're just gonna do a nice takeoff from the runway, and hopefully we're not gonna try to re-land on the runway. That was a bit dangerous last time. We'll land in the water. We'll try to hit the water at roughly 30 meters per second to completely avoid any issues. So, as soon as the game decides to load in, which should be relatively soon, we will get back onto our trajectory that we have our agency hurtling toward, which is a man on the moon by 1968. Just a rough estimate. We might be able to do it, we might not, we don't know, but we will most certainly try for the sake of Jebediah Kerman and the sake of the entire world. So, just like that, we have the R1 spaceplane on the runway, and we are just going to... Why did I say spaceplane? This is not a spaceplane by any means of the imagination. This is just a regular old airliner. Okay, so we're just gonna, boom, off the ground. And this is where Jeb's mission would go. I know we went really nice and far out to sea, then we went, hey, Vanguard 1 and 2 are still in orbit, that's nice. And the LTLV is splashed down. Also nice. We're gonna try to get decently high up. We're gonna get an upper atmospheric survey. Jet engine. Here, I'll just pin this and see how it's performing. See, it's performing pretty well. As we accelerate beyond the speeds that we were designed to go, we will, well, I don't know what we'll do, but we will definitely get very, very high up, and that's about where our engines cut out, so we can shut down our engines. Oh, what the? We do not want that. Hello, where is? Okay, main. Ugh, that's not look good. Oh, that's how it's meant to look. Okay, well, didn't know that. Sorry, my bad. Okay, we're good. So, well, now we're just gonna kind of hover. We'll do a crew report. Why not? It's kind of all we can do from up here. We'll keep that data, and then we will start our descent back down to the Earth. Slow descent at that. We are going to use our engine to get really low, really fast. It's not going to be a typical descent. We're just gonna, we'll use our wheels to attempt to not be as aerodynamic as we want to be. We can't really, deploy this. It's not really that kind of vehicle, unfortunately, but we're just gonna start bringing ourselves to a landing position over the Atlantic Ocean. Well, not even, barely an ocean even. It's right above Brazil. So this is more just the coastline of South America, if anything. So we're just gonna slow ourselves down by pointing upward, and then we're just gonna nicely bring ourselves to rest in the Atlantic Ocean. Much better than Jeb. We're just gonna do a recover to spaceplane hangar, because this vehicle could be reutilized if ever needed for crew training or for whatever, but we're definitely gonna reutilize some of these planes that we build, or just store them for memory of our agency. That is also an option. Now, I finally decided where I want to end this series. At its crude colonization, or a surface base on Mars, which will definitely take a while, but that's where I feel we should end off. I might get back into the series eventually, who knows, but that's where I think I'll end off for this series. Vessel recovery will take a few hours, and then we have 62 science, barely scraping our need for manned spaceflight, which we will unlock very shortly. I feel we just need one more breakthrough and we're in, but, you know, I don't think it would be a good idea to do so. Another plane. So, we're going to do something different instead. We're going to re-land some sort of rocket. I think what we should try to do is, we could do an animal spacecraft, because they do need those as our testing vehicle for whatever. But I also feel that we could get into orbit and use a different kind of thing like that. Science storage, here we'll use an entry. We'll find something to do. Here we can look into our old vehicles, i.e. the newer launch vehicles we use, and perform a study on something, but we will need a comms antenna for that kind of thing. So we'll just add ourselves a little commutative dish along the side and electronic solar panels along the other side. That will be the spacecraft's thing. Solar panels. But that's gonna be how we get to space. What are we gonna do in space, you may ask? We're just gonna do some simple things like I don't know. Let's do a resource scanner. That's interesting, but it's also a science experiment. And yeah. Total science of it. Yeah, okay, well. It looks cool. And it will fit. So, I'm just gonna retract that. Oh yeah, and Magno MagSat 1 has been made. Just a test of tech. Just kind of like a tech demo, you know, nothing major for the agency to have to deal with, but it'll be something for us to look at. And it seems we might actually beat out the real world crew launch date. We have been roughly following real life launch dates and all these completely unintentionally, so we might get before the 1961 or 1960 real launch of crew. So we should have fun with that. But after the completion of that, we would just look at our upgrades. We have 3 available points. Why not put them in the VAB and then put 1 into research and development? Holy, we have 91 science now, but our crewed mission can wait. Or can it? MagSat 1 might have to wait here, as our finishing of a vehicle did give us money. So, manned spaceflight is unlocked, along with, we don't really have anything else to unlock. But I guarantee you that this next endeavor we will go on will cement it in history of our space program. We will call our first manned spacecraft something, I don't know yet. We'll definitely figure it out. But now that we have access to cockpits, or I mean, what am I saying? What was it? Command modules, probes, satellite. Where are they? Yeah, they're called command pods, but I don't see them. You just unlocked manned tech. Is it broken? Where's the Mercury spacecraft here? Yeah, Germany, Mercury. Did it not unlock? I'm dumb. I know okay, I forgot that we have research time enabled, so we will have to get through that. So, manned spaceflight will take a bit longer than anticipated, which is truly a pain, but well, we can wait till late 1960. We already missed the real life launch date, but we will be damn close to it for sure. So in 300 something days, we will then have the unlocked tech for manned spaceflight, which was either 61 or 60. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on it, but it was one of the two. So in storage, we do have MagSat 1 still sitting there, but that's fine. Well, tech, everything seems to be done, which is good. So in April of 61, we will start development of our first crewed spacecraft, which will carry one of our crew members to space, not orbit, but to space. We do not have the ability to send a crew to orbit that has a very heavy payload. I'm sure the L1LV could do so, but we don't trust it. Let's use the Mercury capsule just to keep the style that we've been going on of eludely basing our spacecrafts off things. Here, I'll make it white. We'll give it porthole style windows just to be unique. For our heat shield, where is the heat shields? Thermal. Odd, we don't have a Mercury heat shield unlocked, but we have just a heat shield. Well, it's a black heat shield. What can I expect except? Yeah, that's how spacecrafts look. Okay, so that works. That will be our return capsule. Yay. Now, a real chute parachute will be what supplies the landing for this. I don't want to call it amazing because it's really not amazing, but show parachute editor. Must go down to the, yes, triple chute, main chute, previous size, previous, there we go. Now, deployment time 0 seconds. We'll give it a good 5-second deployment time. We have 5 spare chutes. Autocut speed of 0.1 meter per second. Landing altitude, meters 0. Apply settings. Good. Now that we have our crewed spacecraft here, we can give it. We don't have the ability to give it a payload mechanism, which is unfortunate, but we don't need to give it something to worry about in development. I'm starting to think that this is not black on purpose, and it's just it wants to be another color, but it can't. Which is fine, but whatever. We will now add our fuel tanks to the vehicle, and what better to launch a spacecraft like this on than a very simple kind of almost very what's the word for it, vehicle reminiscent of our past, which would be a I forget what the vehicle type is called, but we named one of our vehicles something along those lines, and it went very, very well. Now, I guess we'll use an H1 because we don't really use them all too often, but it's 2,500 meters per second of delta V. That's really enough to get where we need to get with this spacecraft. But even under that regard, we will still add some stability control to the spacecraft, as I feel it may encounter an issue where it will need it in the upper atmosphere. But the spacecraft that we are going to be naming, let's go Horizon 1. First crew in space. And what are we gonna need for our scientific payload, you may be asking? Well, what have we not used? I mean, we could use we'll use a Ranger television cam, why not? We'll need to see this live as it exits, so it should be interesting. Should be interesting indeed. Horizon 1 will take 49 days to build. It has been added to the Kerbal construction time menu. This should be the last launch of today's episode. We only got 2 in today, but it's been a good milestone episode. That is for sure. Thinking about maybe starting a live stream for one of these episodes. at one point or another, do like a 49-minute or 50-minute live stream of just commentary, what really goes in behind this if I'm unrushed. So we'll do something along those lines. The VAB Horizon 1 rollout is go, and the launch of Horizon 1 will use Miltlon Kerman, and we will launch the vehicle. And as many crowds come to the KSC to see this in Karoo, the first man to go to space will launch aboard a very odd launch vehicle, to say the least. It's nothing special. It's a very odd looking vehicle, to say the least. It's not very, for one, it's not very efficient. It's got to be incredibly durable to aerodynamic forces acting upon the rest of the spacecraft, but we should be fine in the end. So Miltlon Kerman is, I'm sure, excited for this launch. You can see here his interior view is quite nice. So, just like that, we ignite off the launch pad and we start going upward through the clouds and on a trajectory that will bring us further than ever before into the cosmos. Just a quick up and down is what we will have, and the separation of the spacecraft's payload. We will indeed have an interesting experience at a very high altitude above the surface of the Earth. A crew report can be done. Get 24 science, and we take some photographs. But the most important thing of this mission is the re-entry, of course, as we do not know how the vehicle is going to react in the case of re-entry, so that should be interesting. Akin to a spacewalk, as I already decided that this suit is a piloting suit and is not rated for that kind of exploration. So, as we enter the atmosphere here, we extend the periscope of the spacecraft just to get a little look at what's going on the outside of our view. Just like that, we click on our parachute. It says, is it safe to deploy? No, it is not. Is it now safe to deploy? Yes, it is. So, it's going to get a 5-second mark for deploying the chute set. And now we can officially disable our SAS, as the spacecraft will very gracefully float down to the surface of the Earth. I say gracefully, but I don't know how graceful. Okay, very gracefully. I was going to say last time we had a parachute, it didn't really go according to plan, but I guess this one was different. So we're just gonna release our heat shield to try to get a bit more of a slowed speed. Then we hit the water, recover the vessel, do a normal recovery, and we finally, in 1961, have put a man in space. Now that is an endeavor that will never be forgotten on behalf of all Kerbal kind. But after that milestone, yeah, gonna have some other things to deal with. Upgrade points, for example. We're gonna more upgrade points into the research assembly, but we do have more things to research as our exploration goes beyond where it currently stands. We do need improvements on our current spacecrafts. So we will be getting more mature solid rocket boosters as a benefit of that. And so, after we unlock some improved thrusters, at the end of 1961, our space agency has officially cemented itself in a monumental place in history. And just like that, I will say the same thing I say at the end of every single episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode.